I think we are live. Is everybody able to see me, being that this is my first live YouTube video? I want to make sure that I'm actually on air. And it does look like we are, so
nice.
We'll wait for a couple people to mosey on in.
So Russ, tell me basically what you think we're going to be learning today.
We are going to be learning about weather interpretation. So you can always go on like Weather Channel or something like that, and you can get the weather, and it'll say whether it's going to rain. It'll say, wind and what's expected and stuff. But what we're going to do is we're going to learn actually how to read raw weather data. Nice. And the reason why you want to learn that is because in specific times, if you're doing commercial drone photography or videos, it's a little different than just playing around with a drone and flying as a hobbyist. Because as a commercial drone pilot, you have specific things that you need to do. And if the weather gets in the way, you just can't do it. Whereas as a hobbyist, let's say that it's foggy. Well, you're just not going to fly today. But as a commercial drone pilot, if you drive over an hour to get somewhere, and then you get there and you can't fly because there's fog in the area or it's raining, then you just wasted a lot of time and money and you have to come back. So that's kind of why these Metars actually work. And like I said, the Weather Channel will give you a lot of this information, but there are certain things that these Metars will give you that the Weather Channel just doesn't. Hey, Cindy, how's it going? I see you got in here. How is your drone up and flying again? Did you get your new replacement? Is it working? Yeah, Cindy, I don't know if you remember that Rattlesnake Ridge videos that I've done, Val.
Yep.
Cindy is one that actually does like weekly updates on that, and she keeps really good numbers and keeps up on the thing all the time. It's 3 hours away from me, so I only do it a couple times every few months or so, but she's literally on it 4 to 10 times a month. So
wow. So Cindy, I'm going to subscribe to your channel. Here we go.
Yeah, pretty much if that mountain goes down, Cindy will be the first one to be showing it. If she doesn't have it like live, because she does a lot of like time-lapse stuff watching the mountain. If it goes down live, like that's going to look pretty amazing on your channel, Cindy, but let's hope it doesn't go down like super bad, because we don't want somebody hurt.
Right. And I went ahead and I subscribed to you, and I'll be watching. I would love to see where that goes.
And she has some cute dogs and stuff as well.
I love dogs.
So I'll give it another minute or so for some people to mosey on in, and then I'll just start, and people will come in through the middle, and that's fine. And we'll just keep it moving and keep it working, and everybody will, if they miss the beginning, they can always go back and watch the beginning as well. So first, what I'll do is, while I'm waiting for everybody to come in, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Russ. My channel, Droning About Northwest. I just recently, it's about just over 2 weeks ago now, got my Part 107 commercial drone pilot's license, meaning I now, instead of just flying as a hobbyist or for fun or anything like that, I can actually go and sell my services to go fly a drone and take pictures for real estate, power line companies, power construction, all kinds of different things. So to be able to do that, though, you need to take a test and get your commercial drone pilot's license, and that's covered under the Part 107. It's actually the CFR Part 107. And so I just got that. I've done a couple jobs, and it's been exciting. I've learned a few things past getting the license on how to read plat maps, as well as what's kind of wanted in real estate. And I can do a lot of different videos on that. What I'm doing this video for today, and what Val is here for, is I'm going to go over a couple things on reading raw weather data. It's a big part of the test. I would say at least 10% of the test, if not more. If not, maybe 1 in every 5 or 6 questions. I think I had like 8 questions or 7 questions on it. But I'm going to also introduce Val. She's my co-host. Val, say hi.
Hi.
Val is wanting to get her Part 107 here soon, and she's going to be kind of documenting how she's going to get her Part 107. So she's doing a lot of these study guides with me, and she'll be doing a lot of studying on her own with other things as well. So today, like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to learn raw weather data. The Part 107 requires you to almost have about what I've been described as about 1/3 of the knowledge to actually have a private pilot's license. So when you're flying up in the air, it's really good to understand, just like driving, what you're moving across. When you're driving, you want to know, is there ice on the road? Is there rain on the road? Is there puddles in the low spots of the surface of the street and everything? The same thing as in air. You want to know, am I flying through clouds? Is there a huge headwind? Is there a huge tailwind? All that stuff. Now, what you guys might all be saying is, well, I'm just flying a drone. I can only go 400 feet in the air. How does this pertain to me? Well, it actually pertains to you guys quite a bit. There's a few things that actually it does. So one big thing that it does is, let me get my notes here, but you can only fly lower than 500 feet below the lowest broken or overcast cloud level, and that is called the ceiling of what you can fly. So yes, we can fly to 400 feet. That's our max no matter what. But if there are clouds at 600 feet, like let's say a fog layer at 600 feet above you, you can actually only fly to 100 feet because you have to be 500 feet below those clouds. Now, what if the clouds are 800 feet high? How does that pertain to you? Well, under normal circumstances, you can only fly 400 feet. But hey, 500 feet below that is still only 300 feet. Now, if those clouds are even higher than that, let's say 1,500 feet. If you are inspecting, let's say, a tower, oh my gosh, first of all, this Part 107 test, you're always inspecting a tower. So get used to that. But if you're inspecting a tower and it's 1,000 feet high, technically, you are allowed to fly when flying over that tower up to 1,400 feet high. So if there's a cloud layer that's 1,800 feet high, you can't go over that whole tower. You can't go, or well, you can't go above 1,300 feet. And if you are required to drive an hour away to this tower, and you need to be able to fly all the way over that tower at a certain distance, and the cloud layers will not allow that, you're going to want to schedule it on a different day. And that's where reading these METAR and TAFs, or what they're called, that's where those help you more than what just looking up at the Weather Channel can do for you. So what is a METAR? A METAR is a meteorological terminal aviation routine. Basically, it's just raw weather data. And a TAF is a terminal aerodrome forecast. Basically, the METAR tells you what it is, the TAF tells you what it will be, okay? And so we're basically going to go over how to look at that data. And if anybody is wanting to wonder what it looks like, if you look down in the description, right below me and Val here, there's actually a couple examples, and those are going to be the examples that I'm going to use when I'm explaining how this stuff works for you guys. So I'm going to go over first a couple terms, because people might want to learn the terms that I'm going to be talking about. Again, METAR and TAF, I just told you what those are. Ceiling, I mentioned that before. Your ceiling that you can fly at is either 400 feet above ground level, 400 feet above an object that you are flying over, like a tower. So if a tower is 1,000 feet, your ceiling is 1,400 feet. And that also includes 500 feet below the lowest broken or overcast cloud layer. And I'm going to show you guys how to know what that broken or overcast cloud layer is. You'll be able to read this data and actually go use it. So I'm going to use both my local airport here, which is the Spokane International Airport. And since Val is here with me, we're going to use her local airport as well, which is down in southern Idaho.
The Boise Airport.
So another thing I'm going to use, Part 107. That's the license, test, everything you guys are all wanting and hoping to study for, okay? UAS. Now, in real life, we call them drones. We call them quadcopters. We call them whatever. In the Part 107 test and what the FAA calls them, it's a UAS, Unmanned Aircraft System, okay? And then also, our weather is going to be, especially wind, is going to be indicated in knots. Now, a knot is not equivalent to 1 mile per hour. It's actually a little bit more than 1 mile per hour. It's technically 1.15 ... miles per hour. So 1 knot is 1.15 miles per hour. 10 knots is 11.5 miles per hour, etc. If you want to put that in kilometers per hour, it's just under 1.9. It's like 1.86, I think, or something. Okay. And temperature is measured in Celsius as well. So with that all said, I'm going to also invite you guys, anytime you have a question, blurt it out. Val is going to be writing down some of the questions, and we're going to go over them at the end. And especially at the end, I'm going to have some time for you guys to all ask me questions as well. So feel free, blurt out a question right now. I might not get to it right now. I might see some of them and just answer it right there. But if I don't, we will get them to the end. And if I forget, because, hey, that happens, just remind me in the end. Say, hey, Russ, you forgot about me. Nobody likes me. No, I'm just joking. Just tell me that you guys, what your question is, and we'll go back over it. Okay, so let's go over our first example. Our first example, like I said, I'm going to be using my local airport here. So we are going to go over, and I'm going to hold this up to the screen. It's not going to look that great, but just go by what's in the description below. If it feels easier for you, take a few seconds to write down all those numbers, letters, and everything, and make sure you include the spaces because they are important, okay? So here is our first example. It's going to be right there. So the KGEG stands for our airport, Tiger International Airport, okay? And the time is going to go by Zulu time, which is basically time at Greenwich time, prime meridian, okay? So those first few numbers there, and then it's followed by a Z. That Z is actually stands for Zulu. So the first two numbers literally just indicate the date. So it says 03, that stands for November 3rd, okay? That's 1753 Zulu time. And I think, by the way, our time, everybody don't forget to change your clocks back tonight. So it's gonna mess up, but I think our time is 8 hours off of Zulu time. In Pacific, 7 Central, 7 for Mountain, 6 for Central, 5 for Eastern, okay? But you can always look up Zulu time compared to my time zone, and you'll be able to find that on the internet. But, so, our first numbers, on the 3rd at 1753 Zulu time, that means 5:30 or 5:53 in the afternoon in England, here today, where we're not in England. I know it's a little confusing. Okay. The next number is going to have 22009 KT. So that's going to be telling us the wind. So those first three numbers, anybody who has ever looked at a compass, okay, you have your north, okay? North is 360 degrees, okay? Then you go over to east, which on my screen, I might be pointing a different direction, but you go over to east, okay? East is 90 degrees. South is 180 degrees. And then west is 270 degrees. So this number here, the 220, the first three numbers, what that tells you is that tells you from 220, meaning it's going to be between the 180, which is south, and it's going to be between the 270, which is west. So the wind is coming from the southwest, not to, from the southwest. So it's going to be, if you faced southwest, the wind is blowing at your face. That's how I always remembered it in my mind. If I face this direction, it will be coming at my face, okay? Then the next two numbers are 0, 9. That means at 9, KT stands for knots, okay? So right now, what it has told me so far that we have learned is at 17:53 Zulu time at the Spokane International Airport, wind is blowing in my face if I am facing in the direction of southwest, okay? Are you following me so far, Val?
I am following you. I'm writing it all down.
Awesome. So our next few numbers, very easy, but very important, because as a commercial pilot, you are not allowed to fly when visibility is less than 3 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So the next number, 10 SM, literally means the visibility is 10 statute miles. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually only 10. In a METAR, it only goes up to 10. That means you can see as far as you can see. It can be 25 miles, but they're only going to write 10 or less. Okay? 10 statute miles. Now we're going to get into the good thing. This is where you can start determining whether you're allowed to fly, where you're going to be flying and at what heights, because it's not just about towers. Think about if you are by a mountain or something like that, and you got to fly halfway up that mountain. Well, all these next numbers that we're going to be talking about are above ground level for that airport, okay? Not for where you are necessarily, for that airport. So then you can figure out how high that airport is and how high you will be. So if you're going to be on a mountain that's 1,000 feet above the airport, you want to make sure that you take 1,000 feet off of these numbers that I'm going to tell you. So our next set of numbers, it says FEW 015, which basically means there's a few clouds at 15. Now, the 15, it doesn't mean 15 feet. You always add 2 zeros to these numbers, okay? So you are doing, there's a few clouds at 1500 feet, meaning there's a couple clouds at 1,500 feet high, okay? Now, as I said before, your ceiling is at broken or overcast. So if there's a couple clouds, meaning a cloud here or there at 1,500 feet, that doesn't mean that's your ceiling. You can still fly there as long as you're not flying into those clouds.
So can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
You said after the 10 standard miles, you went into a few, and then I didn't get the numbers after that. Could you read them out to me again?
Yes, absolutely. So after the 10 standard miles, the 10 standard miles just means your visibility is beyond 10 standard miles. Right. So then after that, we have that next set of numbers. It's few 015.
Okay.
And that few 015 means it basically, when you are figuring how high that actually means, they're only saying at 15, a few clouds at 15. But what they really mean is 1,500. So they're saying there's a few clouds at 1,500 feet.
So that wouldn't affect a flyer then?
Not necessarily. It usually wouldn't. Correct. Yes. It wouldn't affect me necessarily. Now, here's the thing, Val. If I have a communications tower and somebody's saying, hey, can you go up and see if it's the light that's burnt out, or if we have a wire problem or something, maybe a bird chewed through wires on this tower that's 1,200 feet high. Okay. So it doesn't necessarily mean anything to me if I'm flying from ground level just above something on the ground. But if I have a tower that's 1,200 feet high and they want me to go to that tower, if let's say the ceiling was at 1,500 feet. I have to be with 500 feet below that. So I can only go to 1,000 feet. So if that light on top of that 1,200-foot tower is at 1,200 feet and they want me to go look at that, but I can only go to 1,000, technically I can't fly.
Okay.
So that's why. But a few clouds doesn't mean anything unless you're actually in the cloud itself. You also have to be 2,000 feet away from any cloud. So if there's a cloud right here, I'm a cloud. I have to be 2,000 feet this way away from the cloud to be at the same level as it.
Okay.
So that's, but I didn't see a question about how far horizontally you have to be away from a cloud, but it can be there. There's a lot of stuff, and some of the stuff, it's just so much to remember. You won't remember on the test, but the great thing about the test is there's 3 answers. And one of them you can usually throw out because they're asking you about colors or something, let's say, for example, and they give you an answer of pumpkin. Well, I guess pumpkin could be a color, but it's just there's one question or one answer you can easily throw out. And then you have to decide which is the best of the other 2. And using just sound judgment, as long as you have decent knowledge on the subject, you can figure out which of those 2 is probably the best answer, and you'll get most of those right.
Okay.
So now let's go to our next numbers. So far, I'll do a recap of what we know now. We know that at 17:53 Zulu time, coming from the southwest direction at 9 knots is the wind, we can see past 10 statute miles, and there's a few clouds at 1,500 feet. Okay, so the next few letters and numbers are SCT 080. So SCT 080. What that means, most of the time we can just use our guess, and you're probably right. Probably SCT would probably stand for scattered if you're thinking about weather. So there's a couple scattered clouds. Few clouds means there's one here or there. Scattered means there's quite a few, but there's not enough to be more than half of the area is covered by clouds at this level. So there's scattered clouds at 80, basically. But remember, you have to add a couple extra zeros. So 8,000 or 8,000 feet. There's a couple scattered clouds. Okay, that's our next number. So let's go to the next area. The next area shows that there are BKN 150. So BKN stands for broken. There's broken clouds at 150.00 feet. So we've got broken clouds at what's basically 15,000 feet. Now, as a drone pilot, you're not flying to 15,000 feet. I can't think of any instance in which you're flying 15,000 feet, because if you have to go to a mountain that's that high, it's going to have its own weather that's completely different than what this airport is saying. So, but what this does help you with is on the test. So remember, our ceiling, and this is how the test is going to formulate the question. Our ceiling is at the lowest cloud level that is either broken or overcast. Now, we can't fly below, or where we can fly is 500 feet below this, okay? But your ceiling is at the lowest of the broken or overcast cloud level. So the broken cloud level is at 15,000 feet. So how they're going to ask this on the test is they're going to give you this METAR, and you're going to have to interpret what it means. And they're going to say, what is the ceiling at Spokane KGEG Airport at 17:53 Zulu time? And you're going to say, oh, well, few. No, that's not broken or overcast. Scattered. Oh, no, that's not broken or overcast. Oh, broken. Okay, broken at 1500 or at 150. That means your answer would be the ceiling is 15,000 feet. Does that make sense to you, Val?
That made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first saw those numbers, I thought there was no way I was going to understand this.
Yeah, and you know what? The thing is you may not understand it tomorrow morning after you sleep, because it took me, this is one of the harder parts of the test, believe it or not. There's a lot of stuff that is just, oh, you got to remember this or that or this or that or whatever. And Yeah, those things are tedious, but usually when the question is asked, you're like, oh yeah, it's that one. Because again, you get 3 multiple choice answers and you've gone over it a few times. But a lot of the, like they say, how far below the ceiling can you fly a UAS? Well, you'll be like, oh gosh, what was it? And they'll have like 3, 4, or 500 feet. And you'll be like, 500 feet, I remember that. And you'll be able to get that. These, however, you have to be able to interpret a lot of things. And there's tons more stuff that they can put in there.
Right.
But there's, this one, I did some easy ones because once you get the easy ones down, you can kind of start looking up, well, what does this mean? Well, what does this mean? Well, what does this mean? And you can type it in and you can look it up. And then you're just basically adding a few examples that are very small here, few in between, to what your basic knowledge is. And your basic knowledge is what's going to help you the most on the test. And you can get a 70% on that test to pass. So you can miss, 18 questions, I think. So you might miss a few questions, but it's okay to miss a few. Okay. And then, so now let's go to our last section of letters and numbers here. It says OVC 200. Now, Val, with everything that we've learned, what do you think that would stand for?
Overcast.
And what does the 200 mean?
200 means 20,000 feet.
There you go. Hey, see, now just from what you have learned with all the other stuff, you've already been able to decipher and figure the next one out. And there's a lot of stuff that you can be like, oh, well, I know this and this and this, so I can figure out that it's that.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually, it gets a lot easier. The more you learn about this part, that part, things start actually coming together where you may not have ever learned one thing, but you can read it and be like, oh, hey, I bet that means this. And 99% of the time you're right.
Nice.
Yep. So now that is a METAR. So the full understanding of this METAR means basically there's a whole lot of clouds in my area and there's all kinds of different levels of clouds. And I'm looking out my window right now and I can see some blue here and there, but not really. But there's some low clouds, there's some medium clouds, and there's some upper clouds. Okay. So what this all means is at the Spokane Airport at 17:53 Zulu time, from the southwest at 220 degrees at 9 knots is coming the wind. There's good visibility because it's 10 statute miles or more. There's a few clouds at 1,500 feet. There's scattered clouds at 8,000 feet. There's broken clouds at 15,000, and there's overcast at 20,000. Now, what the few, scattered, broken, and overcast all mean is few means, I think, less than 20% of the space is covered by, and none of these questions are in the test. I just looked them up myself. Less than 20% are few. Less than 50% covered is scattered. More than 50% is broken, and more than 80% is overcast. So now let's
ask you a question.
Yep, go ahead.
Basically, what this is telling me, if I have a pilot's license and I got clearance from the airport to fly, I would be good at 400 feet. No, 250 feet.
No, you would be able to fly to 400 feet almost anywhere. Pretty much anywhere. Because the lowest cloud level they're saying is at 1,500 feet. So you would be able to fly to 400 feet everywhere.
Everywhere.
As long as you have the clearance and you're in an area that isn't right next to an airport and all this. Yeah, as long as you have clearance, you would be able to fly to 400 feet.
Okay, so it's telling me I'm clear to go. As long as I have, if I'm within that 5 miles, like let's say I'm at 4 miles, I still have clearance to 400 as long as I get approval.
As long as you get approval, correct. Okay. So now let's say instead of few or broken at 15,000 feet, let's say it was a really cloudy day and it said broken at 008. Okay, so BKN at 008. That is going to be your ceiling cloud level because it's broken. And 008 means how many feet?
800 feet.
800 feet, and you have to be 500 feet below that. So what is your actual flying ceiling?
Mine is 300 feet.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, right, this makes much more sense now.
Yeah, it's actually, it really is easy when you start getting it down. And really, then it just becomes a matter of learning, oh, more and more terminology of this and that and that and this. Okay?
That's what worries me, is all the terminology, because
The
I think
terminology. Yeah.
but then, yeah, okay.
So now we're going to look at a TAF, which is, again, Terminal Aerodrome Forecast. So now this TAF that I looked up for the Spokane Airport is going to say FM, meaning from, starting at 04, meaning the 4th of November, at 600 Z, 600 Zulu time, from 190 degrees. So our next big, now this number is going to introduce another thing to you. So it'll say 19014 G20 KT is the next big set of numbers. So what that means is from 190 degrees. So it's almost from the south, but it's a little west. Okay. The wind is 14, and then the G means gusting up to 20 knots. So if you guys have all written that down, 19014 G20 KT, we have from 190 degrees, the wind is 14 knots, gusting to 20 knots.
Okay.
Okay. Then now, like I said, Metars will show you up to 10 miles. In a TAF, it will only show up to 6 miles. So our next number is P6SM. And all that means is visibility is past 6 statute miles, meaning more than 6 statute miles. You can probably sing a long ways from your house today. Okay. Or I should say I can. That's still for me here. And then it'll say a dash sign or minus sign, RA. What that means is there is a, because of the minus sign, it means light. Light rain. So basically, it's going to rain tonight here, is what they're saying. And overcast, OVC 035. So it's going to be overcast at 3,500 feet. So there's not going to be any other cloud layers. It's just going to be overcast at 3,500 feet. So first of all, I can't fly at that time because it's at nighttime. You cannot fly any commercial at night. But I can fly up to 400 feet if it was daytime with these conditions. But it's raining. And are you going to fly your drone in the rain? No. So what that would tell me if I was going to do a job is it's raining. It's not great for my drone. And the other thing that you got to think about if you are doing commercial drone flying, you got to think about the fact that that wind is at 14 knots and it's gusting up to 20 knots. So you're looking at possible 24-mile-an-hour winds gusting on your drone. And if you're trying to take really good pictures and your drone is up there fighting the wind, your gimbal might be able to handle it a little bit, but you're not going to get as clear of pictures. You're not going to get a very good sight on what you're doing. And if you're trying to inspect, like I said, wires on a tower light, you're not going to want to be right next to that tower close enough to see those wires if you're trying to fight a 20-something mile-an-hour wind. You might hit the tower and lose your drone. So that's the kind of stuff that this tells us, whereas the Weather Channel or some kind of weather site will basically just say, it's going to be light rain tonight at, what would this be? 8 hours, so 10 o'clock tonight. It's going to be a light rain at 10 o'clock tonight, and it's going to be 15-mile-an-hour winds. That's what we would know. But as a drone pilot, we know, yeah, probably not good to fly. But if we were, and let's say it wasn't windy and there was no rain, now we can see that our ceiling is 3,500 feet, meaning we can only go to 3,000. So there's probably not that many towers you're going to fly 3,000 feet in the air. But if there's a mountain right next to this airport within 6 miles or so, and you're 3,500 feet up on this mountain, you're probably going to be in clouds. So that's what it will tell you. That's what it might help you with.
Nice.
So let's see. Is there any anybody that has seen you? Have you seen any questions?
I have not. What is this magic?
Oh, Caleb. Yeah, it's Google Hangouts. So it automatically changes to Val if she's talking and I'm not.
Or if I'm doing something like that. Hey, AU Pack Mule, how you doing?
How's it going, Pack Mule?
This makes it so much clearer.
It does. I'm hoping that's all I'm hoping to do is I'm trying to take what I learned. I paid a bunch of money to learn all this stuff. And if I can pass it on and help somebody else, even if they go and pay for one of these sites, maybe I can tell them in some kind of plain language different than what their site will teach them. Because most of it's taught by actual, not UAS pilots, but real pilots. And so sometimes they get a little caught up in the fact that, hey, everybody knows what ceiling means. Well, not everybody does know what a ceiling is. So I want to explain some of that stuff. I want to explain what broken, fused, scattered, overcast clouds mean. Not just the fact that your ceiling starts at the lowest broken or overcast level. I want everybody to know what those mean. So I'm just trying to help everybody, give everybody something that they can use later. So now, Val, let's look at the weather in your neck of the woods. So we are going to look at KBOI. That is the airport's symbol. K, it's for Boise International Airport.
Yep.
So, and everybody, again, remember, the numbers are down in the description.
We got Star Cop in the house.
Hey, Star Cop. And by the way, Star Cop is definitely a holder of Part 107. He flew drones for the military, and it is some pretty cool stuff hearing about it.
Star Cop is a star.
So let's start with Boise. So our first numbers and letters, 031753Z. Again, that's saying our date is the first two numbers. So November 3rd at 1753 Zulu time. Now we're going to go to our next numbers, 32005KT. So that's going to tell us the first three numbers again in that second set are where the direction of the wind is coming from. So we have our 360, 90, 180, 270. So from 320, which means between the 270 and the 360. So it's going to be coming from the northwest. So your wind right now, Val, is coming from the northwest.
Okay.
At 0.5 knots, meaning at 5 knots, about 5.5 miles an hour. Okay. Then our next 10 SM, 10 statute miles. Basically, you can see. There's no visibility problems. There's no smog. There's no fog. You can see. Okay. Next set, FEW 110. There are a few clouds at, remember, when you use these numbers for height and clouds, you have to add 2 more zeros. There are a few clouds at how many feet, Val?
11,000.
There you go. Okay, and now I included a couple extra numbers, a couple extra things that are going to be in a METAR, okay?
Okay.
These were not on the last one, and it may not always list them, but 09/01. What that means is the current temperature is 9 degrees Celsius, and the current dew point is 1 degree Celsius. So what does that mean for you? That means if it gets below 1 degree Celsius, while that dew point is at 1 degrees, you will either get dew on the ground, or if you go below freezing, which is 0 degrees Celsius, you're going to have frost. So you are above the the dew point. You're not going to have any dew on the ground, and you're not going to have any frost because you are 8 degrees Celsius above the dew point. Okay. Our next set of numbers, A3032. That means the atmospheric pressure is 30.32 inches mercury. And that's how pressure is measured. There's big things at airports that you can actually, and stuff that you can see, but basically it deals with air pressure. So one standard air pressure, which means one atmosphere, is at sea level 29.92 inches mercury. So what this 3032 tells me is it's a slightly high pressure near you, Val. So those few clouds at 110 or 11,000 feet, it's probably a pretty clear day other than those few clouds.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
So that's, there is a question on the test. It's going to say, what is the standard pressure and temperature? And basically, they're going to give you a whole bunch of questions, or a whole bunch of answers, or 3 answers, I should say, but 29.92 inches mercury and 15 degrees Celsius is your standard. Yeah. Oh, see, Starcop beat me at 15 degrees Celsius. See what he did there. Good job, Starcop. See, he knows his stuff. This guy, I hope to have him in one of the study sessions as well. It would be great. But yes, so those are the numbers. I don't want to do too many for you guys. If you guys want to re-go over and look at this stuff again, feel free, look at the video, watch it later. But I wanted to go over just a few things with you guys. And then now I want to take some questions and see if there's anything that anybody wants to ask. You guys can ask anything from me or Val. So go ahead and ask some questions. Throw them at me. And hey, Jewish redneck preppers, how are you doing?
Shalom.
I don't think we have met.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So now that we kind of got this, and I think from here, I'll probably look up, make sure, I got all the little slang stuff. I know it's not slang, but make sure I know it's few and what the standard miles are, and KT means knots. I'm going to kind of have to roll that over in my brain a little bit to make sure I remember. But do you think you're going to be doing this kind of thing on Saturdays, just different pieces? Or do you think that you're just going to pick some of the harder things and do those?
No, I want to do, I'm hoping to do this. It may not necessarily always be on Saturdays. Saturdays probably will be what I plan to do. And in the near future, yes, on Saturdays. But yes, I plan on doing different parts of the test here and there. So it's not going to be just on this. I mean, on sectional charts, Starcop will tell you, sectional charts, I could spend 5 weeks on the stuff and you still wouldn't have as much of an understanding as what we just now got on Metars. Sectional charts are the hardest part to understand. Like, how many symbols are there, Starcop? I think there's like 148 different symbols for sectional. Yeah.
Kind of like the chemical chart, chemistry chart, whatever.
Yeah, it's like learning the periodic table and everything that each one of those elements means. How did I get so smart, Caleb? I ate all my vegetables when my mom told me. Every time. Except lima beans, because that's not food.
Lima beans are food. You put a lot of butter on them.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to make them like a southern, didn't it?
Caleb wants a Rust Flip live. Yeah, I don't think the wall would be here if I did that in this little space. That would be a really bad idea. So, Starcop, is there anything that you saw that you would like to add? I can definitely, I mean, if you remind me, I might know most of it. But honestly, guys, I've had mine for a few weeks, and it's a lot of this stuff is still really fresh in my mind, but StarCop has been doing this for years. Ah, he came in late. Yeah. Okay.
But this was great information. I mean,
Yeah, and I honestly hope everybody can use it. I really hope people can use it. If anybody is studying, and like I said, even if you're not going to get your Part 107, you know, this can help you with a couple of, I can't think of anything right now, examples, but it can help you with other things. Just understanding more aspects of the world never has hurt anybody.
Okay, this is easy.
Yep. I'm glad, Caleb. And honestly, Caleb, if you think this is easy, it actually, it's most of the toughness of the Part 107 is the intimidation. I mean,
Right.
the FAA really does try to trip you up with questions. And if you know your stuff, you can, I mean, sometimes you have to read a question a couple times. One of the questions I got wrong was literally because the word not was in there and I didn't read it. I was like, oh, I got this one. And I didn't get that one because I didn't read the word not. The Army is cheap. We steal our stuff from the FAA. Yeah. Well, you guys also get to supersede a lot of FAA stuff too. If it's pretty much like if the FAA is like, well, hey guys, you guys aren't cleared to do military operations in this area right now. Well, you guys just say, well, you know, as the old term is, hold my beer and watch this. There are a lot of trick questions, Caleb. They're trick questions, but the thing is if you read them a couple times, you really, it's like, ha ha ha, I see what you did there, FAA. You're not going to get me today. Because honestly, yes, they're trick questions, and they're going to have one blatantly obvious answer that goes for what everybody's going to think with the trick. But if you read it a couple times, you're like, nope, not that one.
Hey, Night Shame.
Hey, Night Shame, how's it going? So one of the, and this has nothing to do with what we're learning here, but one of the trick questions that almost got me was they said Zulu time, which is kind of, I guess, has to deal with what we're dealing here with. Zulu time is measured by the time at what latitude? And, or I'm sorry, not what latitude, at what longitude? Sorry, longitude. And it said Equator, and what was the another one? Equator, and it said Eastern Standard Time was another one, which you know it's not Eastern Standard Time. But the equator, there's no time zone that runs along the equator. The equator is in all the time zones. So they're trying to trip you up, but by getting you to hear the longitude or whatever, and they're trying to get you to go, oh yeah, equator is a lot. No, it's a latitude.
But, so StarCop wants you to know that if you want him to come in, he will.
Oh, yeah, we're about to wrap things up this for today, StarCop. But absolutely, I will have to get with you and maybe get you on one of these where we can go over some stuff and you can kind of explain like your history with the Part 107 and stuff as well, because it's a pretty interesting stuff, guys.
Right, and StarCop, yes. I think that's wonderful, isn't it? Maybe you and I think that's a beautiful matchup. I'm just here to ask the crazy questions when I don't understand anything. And so if you guys want to do that, that's a great thing. And I will be more than happy to let you have at it. But it was fun today.
Yeah, and I wanted Val to ask kind of those simple questions, because there's going to be a lot of questions that go through her mind that are going through all of your mind as well, because she is studying and wanting to learn how to get her Part 107. She doesn't have it yet. So she's going to come up with a lot of the same stuff you guys have, and that's where she was kind of helping me today. She was making me back up on a few things that I rolled over quickly and as well. So, hey, Mr. 84, Adam, how's it going? Hit you guys with a good joke. What color is the sky, Caleb?
Oh, Starcraft, you didn't get it for a reason, because I think the reason why you didn't get it is because you went on exact same time that this went on. That's why you didn't get it. So I will say one thing, if we're going to just discuss YouTube just for a second. The more you go on the same exact time every time, the more people will know and they'll be able to come. So that's just one of those things, right, Star Cop? Unless you're Star Cop and you come in at 5:30 in the morning, my time, then it's very hard.
You know what, Caleb? You know who's really much better at getting a random joke said than me? And that would be Val, because she can ask Alexa.
I can't. Hold on. Alexa, tell me a joke. She didn't. Oh.
She doesn't want to tell a joke. Darn it, Alexa.
I'm going to leave you now and let you finish up your chat, because I got to get ready for my next thing. Excellent.
Sounds good.
Excellent.
Hey, thank you for joining, Val. I appreciate it. I hope I helped you out a little bit, and I hope I'm helping out everybody else.
You helped me a ton.
Great, great. And if anybody has any questions and they think of them after we're done here, put them down in the comments of the after basically post that YouTube will do for me, and I will answer them there as well.
Yeah, that's what. Hold on, I'll try one more time for you, Caleb. Alexa, tell me a joke.
What is a pirate's favorite animal? Arr, ducks.
Oh,
I don't ask her jokes, Caleb. Hey, Jagger Scott, nice seeing you. Okay, guys, don't forget tonight at 7:30 Eastern, we're going to have movie night. So bring your popcorn, bring your drinks. It's on Val's Life. We're going to be showing your vids, and the link is in the description of my thumbnail for that event. I can tell you.
Yes, it's actually a really fun thing. So what they do is they have everybody comes into the channel and they have a link that everybody clicks on, and then you upload your video and they will play your video for everybody to watch. It's really fun. Everybody kind of sees each other's videos and stuff. So anybody who wants to see that, absolutely go there and check that out.
So bye, guys.
We'll see you, Val. Okay. Your echo just told a joke. Excellent. Yeah. Alexa's, I think the best joke that Alexa told was saying no to Val and not telling a joke the first time, right? I think Caleb mentioned that. Alexa is like, no. Well, hey guys, I appreciate you all coming on here. This was my first live stream, so a couple learning aspects for me as well, not just for you guys. Starkov, thank you for coming on here. And I appreciate everybody else, Caleb, Mr. 84, Ashley, Nightshade, and a bunch of other people there. Oh, JNC, No Limit, PMDB Live. Let's see, Jagger Scott, I thought I saw in here. Did I not? Yes, I did. And as always, Kim, thank you for showing up. Pack Mule. Appreciate you guys all coming in. It was a great time. I plan on doing these maybe every week, might be every other week, but we'll see. We'll see how demand kind of presents itself. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. And I'm really happy because my football team has already won. Go 49ers. Anyways, we'll see you guys next time. Later.